7 at 4, live from the Vinton War Memorial, brought to you by Walker's Plumbing Incorporated.
Since January, your hometown station has brought you a series of stories focused on honoring veterans all around our area.
I didn't know about the service being segregated. We had only one black company for black female.
From Vietnam.
Said, Lord, are you finished with me?
To the Korean War.
You could hear a mortar coming in and hit the ground in front of the tank.
And Operation Iraqi Freedom.
I came home whole, but I came home broken inside.
To the war in Afghanistan.
All of a sudden you got to drop your whole life to get ready to go overseas.
7 at 4 highlighted the services of our military who were willing to sacrifice it all for our country.
On this Veterans Day, we continue to honor our military men and women.
Thank you for all of your sacrifices.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us live on this Veterans Day. I'm Melissa Gayona.
And I'm Logan Sherrill. We are live here in Vinton at the Vinton War Memorial. And over the next hour, we are going to bring you some of the best stories that we have put together over the last year, that Melissa has put together over the last year on veterans and everything that these brave men and women have done for us, that have sacrificed for us. And not only are we going to do that, but we've got some phenomenal resources for people that might be struggling today.
Yeah, you know, Logan, back in, it was last Veterans Day, I believe, we decided that veterans need more than just one day.
Right.
So we got with the news director here at WDBJ 7, and we decided that from then on out, we were going to turn a feature story every single month. On the last Thursday of the month, we were going to turn a story and feature a local veteran. So, hey, here we are on Veterans Day, and now we are going to honor those veterans by offering resources. So there are all sorts of events happening around the area. And Logan, we're going to take a look over in Lexington. This was just moments ago, the parade over there.
Yeah, the Founders Day Parade. And I'm sure, you know, a lot of people come out for that. There's a very rich tradition. 1839 was when the first cadet was on post to guard the post at the new institution, and they have been there every year since.
Wow, pretty amazing. You see them honoring just that day.
And you hear the drums.
Yes, all these years later. And also, guys, over in Blacksburg, you know, we have Virginia Tech that way, but we also have the Virginia Tech Corps of Cadets. And again, they have a pretty special event happening over there.
Yeah, they do. And that's where we're going to find WDBJ7's Janae Reese, who has been there throughout the afternoon. Janae, what's going on down in Blacksburg?
Well, Melissa and Logan, the cadets have simply been filling today with traditions because Virginia Tech has a deep military history, and as they do every year, they want to make sure they honor the Hokies that are veterans, but also the men and women across the world who serve. Now, just take a look at this video from the ceremony earlier today. Now, the memorial wreath was placed at the front of the cenotaph at the War Memorial Court. The Gregory Guard, the Corps Precision Rifle Team, also fired a rifle salute, and taps was played in front of servicemen and women of all ages, as you see right here. It also leaves me speechless to see two cadets posted as guards here, changing every hour for 48 hours, rain or shine. Earlier, I spoke with Colonel Gregory Lowe, commander of Virginia Tech's Air Force ROTC Detachment 875 and graduate of the Corps of Cadets, who says he never thought in a million years he'd be here 24 years later, still actively serving any way he can.
Service, I think, is a calling for many. On Veterans Day, we like to tell people we see in uniform, thank you for your service. But as I mentioned in my remarks today, service can take many forms. Our university motto is Ut Prosum, that I may serve. You don't have to wear a uniform to serve your family, your community, your nation, and the world.
Now, a little later today, the Corps will also welcome Homer Hickman, a 1964 Corps alumnus who's known for his book that inspired the movie October Sky. And Melissa and Logan, Veterans Day is always very important to me because, I don't know if you guys know, my dad recently retired from the Marine Corps after 30 years. And although this weekend when he retired, it was a bittersweet moment, I completely understand how this day impacts so many. And I just want to thank everyone for all of their service.
Yeah, I love, Janae, that your father, man, what a milestone to hit. And as you said, it's bittersweet because that is a part of him. But thank you to your father for serving all those years in the United States Marine Corps. And we all know he will always be a Marine.
Yes, never, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Always.
Simplify it, hoorah. And you got that right. Janae, thank you so much.
And
I want to take a chance. That's right. And of course, I got to take a chance to thank you for your service and you doing all that you've done over these years.
Go Army.
You heard that. And, you know, we'd be remiss to leave out the D-Day Memorial because we know that there are a lot of veterans that travel for hundreds and thousands of miles to be in Bedford every year for Veterans Day.
Yeah, the weather will not stop them over there in Bedford for the D-Day Memorial. And I know that the keynote speaker, they have a historian there, Mitchell Yockelson. He's the author of Paratrooper Generals. He's also was there today for a book signing, and that is where we find Ashley Bowles, who has a kind of a deeper look at what was going on over there today.
After a virtual celebration for the year 2020, this year's celebration was back in person. Dozens of chairs were placed in front of the National D-Day Monument in Bedford, and dozens of veterans filled those chairs.
A warm fall morning where both celebration and remembrance were knitted together. From children sitting with their parents, students carrying flags, and veterans from all branches, there was a spectrum of ages and life experiences.
Though this is the National D-Day Memorial, our mission goes beyond the D-Day story. Here we recognize the valor, fidelity, and sacrifice of all veterans, then and now.
The veterans in attendance were also asked to stand as the band played each service song, a visual way to honor the men and women who fought for freedom. In Bedford, Ashley Bowles, WDBJ7.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashley, for that report. Love to see stories about what's happening over there. I will say, Logan, you'll want to stay tuned later in the show. We are going to hear from a United States Marine, Angelica Jimenez, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And you're going to hear about how she almost lost her life serving her country.
And as we head to break, we want to thank all of our veterans and thank you for sending in photos of those veterans who are special in your life. Welcome back to 7 at 4. We are live here on this Veterans Day from the Vinton War Memorial, where we are continuing to honor and to celebrate those brave men and women that have served our wonderful country.
Last week, I had the opportunity to meet a real-life hero, United States Marine Angelica Jimenez. She talked about how back in 2005, while serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom, she almost lost her life serving our country.
Month, they choose a certain amount of female Marines to go to do a security checkpoint in Fallujah. And so June just happened to be my month. We pat down women and children at the border. It was on the convoy back home that a suicide bomber had slammed into my convoy 7-ton truck. The 7-ton flipped over. Many of us got ejected. Some actually got trapped inside and never made it out. I just picked myself up. I mean, I had a really bad cut on my eyebrow, and a whole half of my face was covered in blood, and so was my flak jacket and uniform. But I just kind of picked myself up and started walking in a direction. I wasn't sure what direction where to walk because there was smoke everywhere. The entire time that when I was walking and searching, I was walking in the line of fire and I didn't even know it. I shouldn't have been able to walk because I had a really bad shrapnel wound on my thigh that took half of my thigh out, and I just shouldn't have been able to support myself from walking, but I did, and then once I felt kind of safe because I found somebody. That's when I started surveying my body, and I noticed that I had a lot of burns on the left side of my body, and then that's when I saw my thigh that you could see like my bone and just like flesh, and it just looked like something out of Saving Private Ryan. It was pretty intense, and that's when I started going to shock, and I just couldn't support myself walking anymore.
And that's just one look into what our military men and women go through on the battlefield. We're so thankful that Angelica Jimenez is alive today to tell her story. And we have a special treat for our viewers today, Logan. If you stick around later in the show, we do have Angelica Jimenez here with us to talk about how she overcame her struggles.
And Melissa, Angelica's not alone. There's a lot of veterans who are struggling right now. And coming up after the break, we have some resources here locally to where they can reach out to if they need help.
That is the number of veterans who commit suicide every day across our country, and it is a shocking number, Logan, one that can be felt right here in Southwest Virginia.
Yeah, and we're trying to get that number down to 0, and there are resources right here in our hometowns that are no more than a phone call away.
It's a battle nearly 22 veterans go into alone every day. Suicide. No, it's not fun to talk about, but it's reality for more than 6,000 families every year. However, people closer than you think desperately want to help.
They can say, I have been there, brother or sister. I have felt those exact same things. I have attempted that as well.
Rochelle Sabitsky is the daughter of a 20-year Air Force veteran, the wife of an 18-and-a-half-year Army veteran. In 2013, she founded Family Readiness and Military Ease, or FRAME, to help military families after someone close to her had some issues receiving their veterans benefits.
And I hate people feeling like that, because there are people in this area, you know, and you'd be amazed at how close we really are to you. When you can personalize those conversations, it builds a lot of trust.
Rochelle says she gets 4 to 5 messages or calls per day, ranging anywhere from needing assistance with mortgage payments or babysitting.
It just went off. It's forwarded to my husband right now so he can answer the phone. So it was actually like it literally rang.
Even when veterans feel trapped within their own minds, Rochelle and her husband Jesse are just a call for help away 24 hours a day.
I've gotten one-word messages that just said help. Jesse will directly, or whoever, will directly call that person and say, hey, you know, I'm a combat veteran. You know, brother, I've been there. You know, do you want to meet up, have some coffee? And he's been on the phone with people for 4.5 hours before.
One of the sad parts is that we never want to talk about suicide.
At New Freedom Farm in Buchanan, you'll see that reminder of 22 a day right inside their office. Outside, you'll see pictures of local veterans that we've lost, as well as a very personal story from Lois Dawn Fritz.
My former boyfriend, who was a Marine, shot and killed himself and recorded it on my phone. And as he did it, he said his wound was invisible and no one could understand it. So my goal every day is to make a difference in veterans' lives.
Lois and her team, they have helped countless veterans and continued that conversation of combat trauma and how it's not really a disorder, but it's the new normal for those struggling with thoughts of suicide. It's a similar conversation Sabitsky and Frame put into video form in 2018 with a very real look at what veterans wrestle with here at home.
It is a video that was needed. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to make it a happy video. I don't want to make it, because that's not what this is about. It is for some, it's a very difficult video to watch, and there's somebody that's in the video that I don't think's even watched it yet.
She said that response was overwhelmingly positive. For some, it finally shined a much-needed light into a very dark hole. For others, it might take a little bit longer. But no matter what time that call for help is made, there will be a lifeline.
If someone is struggling, there is hope. There's always someone available.
Your branch is irrelevant to what your mental state is. My husband's Army, my dad's Air Force. Do they always back and forth? Absolutely. You know, we've got Marine friends, Army friends, Air Force friends, but, you know, when it ever came down to it and I said, hey guys, somebody needs help, they would all, you know, and that's the way it should be.
And if you notice during that story, the number for Frame, 24-hour hotline, right there at the bottom of the screen. New Freedom Farm as well. Their number was at the bottom of the screen. And if you are a veteran struggling right now, your life matters. You matter. And you might feel like you're in a deep, dark place, but there are people there. They want to help. And if you are somebody that wants to help these organizations, they say, please reach out to us. Send us a message on our Facebook page. Also, Frame, they've got something coming up for Thanksgiving. They help out about 300 veterans, homeless veterans. They have EMS there on staff, on hand. They're going to feed folks. They're going to give them haircuts. They're going to give them clothes. And that's coming up here in a few weekends. So, yeah, just if you're there, they want to help.
All right, that is amazing to hear, folks that want to help out. And from all of us here at WDBJ7, we want to thank all of the men and women who have served our country. Thank you to our veterans. Happy Veterans Day and welcome back to our live show. We are live from the Vinton War Memorial on a day to just honor all of our military men and women who are veterans. You know, yesterday I received quite the gift in the mail over at WDBJ7, and when I opened it, it was a book. And it was from a veteran who served in Vietnam by the name of Lee Houston. Lee wrote to me in a letter that he wrote this book really as just a way to deal with some of his PTSD that he experienced in Vietnam. Last minute, I called him and I said, Lee, I know it's tomorrow, but is there any way that you could come and join us on our live show in Vinton? And all the way from Carroll County, joining me now today is Lee Houston. Lee, what an honor to have you here today with us. Thank you for your service, and thank you for making the drive down from Freeze.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to get right into this. You have a book. It is called An Enlisted Man's Point of View. And you really started, you say, writing this book as a way to deal with some of the PTSD. Tell me the story of that.
Well, I go to VA. I had PTSD for 40 years. I didn't know about the VA, and I found out about the VA, thank goodness, through belligerence of my wife. Mm-hmm. And they started me on treatment. One of the treatments, and they've tried several. I relive the war every night. They've tried several, and the social worker wanted me to write about the different incidences I'd been in, the different battles, one at a time, and then we sit down and review it in a very structured manner, and that helps me get them out of me.
Sure.
Take it from where it is in my mind and put it into history. And after about a dozen of these, she said, why don't you write a book? And I'm not an author. I'm not a writer. I don't know anything about it. So I put those 12 together along with other things and had a book from the time I joined the service and until I discovered I had PTSD on up until the present time.
Yeah, and one thing you said is once that book was written, a history professor at the University of Virginia at Wise actually read the book and put that book in a special collection in the university's library system. It's also at the library at the Army's War College at Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And guys, it is also at the Library of Congress. I love, Houston, what you said. You said, I am not a professional author. I am just an ordinary GI.
That's
but
right.
You said this book is helping people.
Several people have bought it. And the best story I know about that was a wife who knew her husband had a problem, and she bought the book and was able to convince him he needed to go to VA. So yes, it has been used for that.
All right, I love that. Lee Houston, thank you so much. And you guys, you will find a QR code on your screen. Just scan that and you will be able to find Houston's book. You can also get it in stores as well as Amazon.com. Our live veteran show on this Veterans Day from the Vinton War Memorial. We'll be right back. But first, we want to talk a little bit more about how to honor veterans. And that is Better Body Bakes. We may not know how to bake, but we reached out to a veteran's wife who may have a recipe just for you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mai Garcia, and today I'm going to take you on a little bit of a healthy cooking adventure. We're going to be baking something sweet here. It's going to be a veteran themed and fall themed here. An apple cinnamon shortcake with a coconut whipped cream and a berry drizzle on top. So keeping it healthy, keeping it fall, and keeping it veteran themed here. We're going to start off with our biscuit part first, okay? And you'll find that that's pretty simple here. You're just going to need some baking flour, baking soda, and some sugar, butter, and milk here. And I'm going to keep everything gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan. I've got the oven preheated to 450 degrees here. We're going to start off with a medium-sized or large bowl here, and then I'm going to add in a cup of gluten-free flour blend here. We're going to add in 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. And you just dump that in there, and then baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon. And then to that, 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. And for those who are doing keto, this is a very, very good sugar substitute replacement here. And then with the fork, I'm just gonna kind of mix that all together so it's evenly mixed through. And then to that, we are gonna add 5 tablespoons of vegan butter. So you want it cold, straight from the fridge, and you want it cubed up. With a pastry knife, we're just gonna cut the butter into the flour mixture here until it resembles like a coarse crumb. You can also use a fork, or you can also use a food processor and just dump the butter into the flour mixture and just pulse it until it resembles coarse crumbs. Your last ingredient, you're gonna add in 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond milk, okay? And that's pretty much about it. So to that mixture, I'm just gonna dump it all in. And try not to over mix it, because we want to keep the biscuit nice, light, and fluffy. You are just going to let that mixture sit for about 3 minutes here, so that way the liquid absorbs all of the dry ingredients. We're going to dump that batter or the biscuit mixture right onto the floured surface here. So we're just going to gently fold that batter or that biscuit mixture together here, and then with a butter knife, I'm just going to divide this into 5 equal parts here, and we're going to make 5 biscuits out of this. You're going to make it about 1 inch tall. And that's pretty much about it. And you're going to leave it in the fridge for about 15 minutes here. Now we're just going to place those 5 biscuits evenly apart here. And then you're going to bake it right in the oven, 450 degrees here, for about 13 to 15 minutes.
Welcome back to 7 at 4 on this Veterans Day. We are live from the Vinton War Memorial. We have been honoring veterans for this entire hour, and one way that we can do that is offering resources to those who might be struggling or just need a little extra help, and that is where TAP comes in. Joining me now is Destiny and Lynn with TAP right here in the area. Guys, welcome to 7 at 4.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, it's so good to see you guys in person. I know we've been emailing a lot, so great to be just in y'all's presence to talk about such an important topic, and that is the services that you offer veterans. But before we get into that, I want you guys to tell us a little bit about TAP.
Okay. TAP's a great place. Worked there for a good long time now, and mainly they're about helping people who are struggling, who are having trouble with basic things in life. And their real goal is to help people become independent.
Yeah, and you guys offer so many services over at TAP, so I do want to talk about just more about the veteran services and what that kind of looks like, some of the programs there.
Yes, we have our supportive service for veteran families, which is housing, and then our homeless veteran reintegration program, which is employment. Yes. We work very closely together for our homeless veterans to help them get back on their feet.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we hear. Veterans transition from military to civilian life, and sometimes it's very difficult not only to find housing, but employment as well. So it's good that you guys offer those resources. Can we talk about the need that we see here in our area with veterans?
Yeah, our major need is our basic needs, housing, employment, their ID. I mean, you think it'd be pretty common, but it's hard for them getting out the military to get that, the birth certificate, and clothing and food.
Now, if there is a veteran watching today, how would they be able to get a hold of you guys? And let's also talk about the qualifications as well.
Okay. They can reach us at the phone number we've got down there is 283-4800. They can also get on TAP's website, which is tapintohope.org, and find any of these programs and find who to talk to.
And guys, I know we're running out of time, but I would love to hear a success story of a veteran that you guys have worked with.
Okay. Well, this program started in 2010, and this guy came to us then. And he was homeless. He was living out in the woods and out in buildings downtown, very upset with the way his life had been and wanted to make a change, and came to us on a referral from the VA. We worked with him for a while and then referred him to one of the employers who works with us. He got the job, worked there for, ever since he's worked there. He's got his own place. He's independent. He's got a vehicle. And when I asked him what was the main thing he liked about it, he said that when his children asked him for help financially, he was able to give it.
Amazing. Very rewarding for those veterans. Destiny and Lynn, thank you so much for being here on behalf of TAP. They offer so many services, not just for veterans, but domestic violence, employment, education, you name it, and they also need your help. You can visit them on their website. We'll post that on WDBJ7.com. Guys, we got lots more coming up here on our live show from the Vinton War Memorial on this Veterans Day. Thank you to all of our veterans. Back to 7 at 4. We are live on this Veterans Day from the Vinton War Memorial. Earlier in the show, we introduced you to United States Marine Angelica Jimenez, who served in 2005 over in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And joining me now is our Marine, Purple Heart veteran here. And we are so honored, Angelica, that you could join us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So folks earlier got to hear a little bit about your story and just some of the things that you went through when a suicide bomber hit your 7-ton tank. I believe there was over a dozen women inside that tank. About five people died that day, and miraculously you were able to make it out alive. We're thankful for that. But I want you to talk about how you were able to overcome some of your struggles when you left.
Well, a lot of the things that helped me was trying to find some purpose, something that made me feel happy. So I found a lot of joy in becoming a dance fitness instructor, helping other people come out of their little shell. So as I saw them become happy, it made me happy.
Sure.
I became a makeup artist and doing makeup for young girls or brides, and just that fulfillment of them becoming happy brought joy into my life.
Sure. And Angelica, you said to me that you were not that proud Purple Heart Marine. You were actually, not ashamed of it, but it was difficult for you to relive that again. And I think for a lot of veterans who might be watching today, they hold some of those feelings in. Maybe they're contemplating suicide or they don't know where to turn. What advice could you give to those veterans who might be watching today?
My advice is if you're feeling lonely and dark and you just feel like there is no hope, to seek help. It's very important that there are so many programs out there that will help many veterans that suffer from PTSD and TBI. One program specifically that helped me was Operation Mend, who's based out in Los Angeles, California, and they fly veterans out there and they go through a very intensive 2-week program, and they've helped me, and I encourage whatever program out there that's convenient for you to seek help for.
Yeah, we're so glad that you did seek that help, Angelica, and so thankful for everything you've done for our country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have made the trek up I-81. We're out here at New Freedom Farm today to talk what all they got going on and everything that they offer for veterans and veterans' families. And the lady to do it, that is Miss Allison Jorgensen. Allison, happy Veterans Day to you.
Thank you, Logan. Welcome to New Freedom Farm.
I know this is the first time I've actually been up here. We've had you guys on the show before, and shame on me for not getting up here. This is a beautiful piece of property, and the work you guys do up here is truly awe-inspiring, incredible, and amazing.
Thank you. It is beautiful. It's a wonderful place for veterans and their families to come and feel safe and be able to experience the outdoors and the horses.
And since we are outside, we decided to slide over here and see one of the newest additions is this gorgeous love sign that was unveiled back in September for Freedom Fest, a month long this year. And I know you got a special tie to this sign here. Tell us a little bit about it.
I do. So my son Michael is 16. He's a student at James River High School, and he had the idea to build a love sign and came up with the design himself. As you can see, each part of the military is highlighted. The 22 and 5, too many. The V, he asked veterans to sign during the month of Freedom Fest, and then the E is our New Freedom Farm symbol and Freeze brand.
The V here, it looks full. That's the second V, right?
It is the second V. We completely filled up the first V during the 3 weekends of Freedom Fest in September. We had so many veterans come by and enjoy that event with entertainment and vendors, food, crafts, everything.
Not doing anything this weekend for Veterans Day, but you do have something coming up for Thanksgiving. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we wanted to reach out to any veterans and their families that don't have a Thanksgiving meal. If they can reach out to the farm and let us know, we'll see what we can do to make that happen for them.
And if you do still, though, need any kind of help, you're struggling, anything like that, just because there's no events happening, the line is always open. How can people reach out if they need some help?
So New Freedom Farm on the internet is newfreedomfarm.org. They can call us at 540-855-1158. The farm is here as a resource for veterans and their families all the time.
All right, Allison, thank you so much. And the work you guys do, again, amazing.
We're going to move on to our coconut whipped cream here. And what you're going to need is 1 can of full-fat coconut milk, and you want it chilled in the fridge here overnight here. And so what that does is it's going to allow the coconut cream, where the fat, to come to the top, and then the water is going to settle at the bottom. All the fat, all the coconut cream has risen to the top, and I'm just going to scoop out the coconut cream here into my bowl. We are going to whip this up first until it is nice and fluffy. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of the confectioner sugar, and I'm using Swore confectioner sugar, again, to keep it refined sugar free. And for those of you who are keto out there, this will really be a good sugar substitute, and we're going to just add that in there. And then lastly, ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract in there, and that is it. So next up, we are going to get onto our cinnamon apple filling here, and you're going to see that I have 6 medium-sized apple here cut up, cored, peeled, and sliced up into 1/4 inch pieces here. And then to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Okay, you can use whatever types of apple that you like. And then to a medium-sized pan, we're going to turn that heat up to about medium to high heat here, and then we are going to add in 3 tablespoons of vegan butter here and allow that to melt on top. And then we'll add in our apple mixture along with some cinnamon, some sugar in there, and stir everything together. So we'll add in my apple mixture, 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then to that 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. You're thinking about like 10 to 15 minutes here to allow the apples to cook down. We are going to take 1/4 cup of water, and I'm using 1 teaspoon of arrowroot starch here, and that's going to be our thickener for the apple cinnamon filling. And we're going to mix that in there before we add it to the apple, just so that way when we add it to the apple, since the apples are hot, it's not going to seize up. All right, guys, so we're back to the apples here, and I've let it cook for about 10-12 minutes here. So as you can see, it's cooked down here, and to that I actually already added in our arrowroot mixture along with the water here, and you can see it thickens up the mixture nicely here. And then we are going to finish it off with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract here, and that is just going to help just amplify the flavor just a little bit here. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and take out our biscuit out of the oven here. It looks like it's about done here. It's nice and golden. So as you can see, it's fluffed up here. And so what I'm going to do now is actually brush the top with some melted vegan butter here, and then we are going to sprinkle some cinnamon sugar, that cinnamon sugar mixture that I had prepared earlier. What we're going to do now is kind of assemble everything together here to make the cinnamon apple shortcake with that berry drizzle. Okay, so we're going to take that biscuit here, we're going to come over here, and I'm just going to grab a butter knife, and we are going to cut that in half. It's still warm here, so you can see nice and flaky and buttery here. And then we're going to add in your apple cinnamon mixture, and you can add as much as you like here. Okay, and now to that we're going to top the apple cinnamon mixture with your coconut whipped cream that we made earlier. And then lastly, we're going to drizzle some berry jam on top. This is our apple cinnamon shortcake with a berry drizzle on top and topped with some coconut whipped cream.
All right, and yeah, you can find that entire recipe over on the Fit Body, what is it? Better Body Bakes Facebook page. All right, so there you go. And look, we know it's getting closer to dinner time, and maybe you want something to kind of stick to the ribs. Don't worry, we got you taken care of there too, because David Clark from Mission Barbecue, a friend of the show, he's been on 7 to 4 plenty of times. David, good to see you, and happy Veterans Day.
Good to see you again. Thank you.
And I'm sure you guys have been very, very busy over there today.
We have been busy in Roanoke and Christiansburg now, and saying thank you to lots and lots of veterans, and this is probably the most important day of the year to us, and we just want to say thank you to all the men and women that have served our country.
And really, David, one of the things I appreciate about Mission Barbecue is you guys go beyond just today. Obviously, yes, we say thank you to the veterans, but every day at noon, what do you guys do at Mission?
We play the national anthem every day at noon. On days like today, we have live singers. It's just to honor our country and the men and women that serve it, raise their right hand and swear to protect, serve, and save.
And as a man, you know, how does that make you feel knowing that you guys help so many people out and you say thank you every day?
It makes me really proud. It's very humbling, because when you get the opportunity to meet these people, we met a World War II vet today in Christiansburg with First Day, First Wave, Omaha Beach. You know, we met just all these heroes it's just humbling to talk to them. And it's a privilege to be able to serve them.
Well, and you say First Day, First Wave. There's sadly, Father Time is taking a lot of those men from us. So
yes.
Every opportunity that you get, you have to spend speaking with these veterans. We got to tell their stories, share their stories, preserve those stories, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Yes, and it's just, you learn so much from the World War II all the way up to the global war on terrorism. Amazing people, humble. And it's, like I said, it's a privilege to be able to spend a little bit of time with them.
And then the large cup you guys have here is also another way you can help out. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, these are $2 extra. The $2 goes to the Global War on Terrorism Memorial Foundation. Right now, every time you bring it back, you save $1. So you come back twice, you've done some good and broken even. And we really want to help build a memorial to all the men and women that have fought in the longest war in our country's history, this Global War on Terrorism, and all the sacrifices that they've made. I have a really good friend of mine's son that was injured very badly over there, and he's an inspiration for me to try to help get this built.
And I know you got an opportunity in Roanoke and in Christiansburg, 9 o'clock tonight. Get out there. Lynchburg, it's opening in the spring. I want to thank every single veteran that we've had on this show today, every veteran that we have featured on this show, and thank you for sending all of those photos in. And we honor every single one of you. And for myself, for our veteran Melissa Gaona, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere, because in about 30 or 45 seconds, we've got a very special way that we're ending our show here at the Vinton War Memorial.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the light with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, whitewood foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, whitewood foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.